Welcome everyone to this session from Rezolve.ai on QVA, Quick Value Assessment. This topic is important this time of the year. Right now we are at end of August, beginning of September. Guess what season it is? It is budget season. And what I've seen in most of the budget kind of scenario, a lot of IT service desk managers, IT operations leaders are grappling with the situation where they have to decide the budget for next year. And senior leadership is asking them the question, hey, what kind of efficiencies you are going to show me next year? What kind of, what more can you do with the budget do you have that you have? How you are going to manage our growth next year without me having to put an additional investment on you? What is your plan for efficiency improvement, for making your self-service better, and so on and so forth? So it's a very interesting part of the year. And as we plan for the budget for next year, you got to decide. You can make the promises like, hey, I can give you 15% efficiency improvement next year, but exactly how, we sometimes don't know exactly how we are going to do it. As a matter of fact, this is not only about the budget of next year, this is also about last year's promises. Because surely last year also you made promises where senior management came to you and said, listen, we want to see your roadmap, your transformation, your digital game plan, and tell us how you're going to make bring more efficiency to the picture. And that can be a challenge because you're almost 1 year down from last year. And if you promise 20% or 25% improvement last year, the question is going to come this time as you go and start making the promises for this year. They're going to say, what happened to last year? You said 25% improvement. Where is it? And if you did not achieve your whatever the target was, what is the target for this year? So the answer to all those questions often lies in details, right? And many IT operations leaders and service desk managers do not have the tools today necessary to actually build those kind of projections. The intention is right. They do want to get the CSAT up. They want to create more efficiencies, but they might not have the tools that are required to actually get that done. And today we are going to talk about it, what kind of help is on the way. If you're a service desk manager for a large enterprise, you are a IT operations leader for a mid-sized company, what kind of help is on the way for you? And the help that is on the way is using QVA, Quick Value Assessment, which is a new service offering by us. So let's start by talking about what is QVA, right? So Rezolve.ai, we are going to talk about Rezolve.ai. Many of the people who are here already perhaps know about Rezolve.ai. The people who don't know about us, we are going to talk about that later. But it's the quick value assessment can help IT operation leaders to unlock the insights which are hidden in the ticket data. Where would you today, if I ask you some questions about your service desk, where are the answers going to come from? The answers are either going to come from someone experienced in your team who can perhaps give you some high level idea about what kind of things, where the inefficiencies lie, where there's possibility of tweaking a few things. Or the second best source, or maybe the best source, is actually in the ticket data, right? So the ticket data holds the key to lot of insights that we want, but it is not easy to unlock the information that is hidden within ticket data for everyone, right? And using some advanced technology, including generative AI, clustering algol, etc., we are going to help you do that, right? So that's the session about, and that's what we are calling quick value assessment is what we are calling it. It's a new service offering. We are a product company. Typically, we don't do service offerings, but this is the service offering that we have launched just now. We are actually launching it today, and the people on the call are the first one to actually hear about it. Now, who is QVA meant for, right? The question might be like, is it for me? Is this QVA that you're talking about is going to help me? Well, we can go through it. If you if you are a leader who has felt the need, you kind of know that there are things that can be done in terms of service desk efficiency, but you cannot be very precise, right? Like you don't have exact like percentages and numbers, and it's not down to that. You know overall that there is efficiency improvements that are possible, but you would like more details. You want exact numbers to be handed to you. So this QA will help you understand ticket distribution and patterns. It'll help you identify knowledge gaps that exist in your service desk. It will help you identify automation opportunities. There are a bunch of automation opportunities. It will help you understand that. It will try to quantify the gains that you can make from understanding all of this into actually a dollar figure, and it will try to benchmark what is the employee service index in your organization. So these are the five things that QVA is going to help you with. By the way, I'm going to just spend a minute on the first one, understanding ticket distribution and pattern. So ticket distribution and pattern is something, it sounds easy, and people can say, hey, I can tell you where my what category and subcategory, how many tickets are there in that category and subcategory. We are not talking that. We are talking something much more advanced than that. Sure, you can go to your ServiceNow or BMC Remedy or whatever you're using, and you can look up the information by ticket data. Like you can do how many in this category and this subcategory. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about something more advanced, and I'm going to kind of unveil that as we go along. But before we go that, I think a quick minute, it is worth to spend a minute on what is the employee service index. I kind of dropped a new term on you, and it's important to kind of spend a minute on that. This is a term, by the way, that we have coined. Employee service index is a term that was coined by Rezolve.ai around 3 years ago, and this is an index, and the way this index was created was, every year we do appraisals of employees and whatnot, right? So we give the feedback to employees. We tell them what's going on, and how well you are doing, and which are the areas that you didn't do so well, and what are the areas that you need to improve. And that's great. Right? Not an area that anyone looks forward to, either as an employee or maybe sometime not even as a manager, but that's what we all do. But guess what? We don't evaluate um, the enterprise, right? We don't evaluate until enterprise, especially with respect to, let's say, service that the enterprise is providing to its employees. Hey, how did you do in the services that you provide to me? Did your IT service that you provided to me was frustrating? Was it, did I got approached too many times? Did I not have access to knowledge? Did I wanted to get this thing literally in 1 minute, and you didn't have something ready for me there? The point is, this is more than CSAT that everyone thinks about. Like when you think about, hey, can we run a CSAT on a service desk? This is definitely more than CSAT. Employee service index is in a number. It is between 0 and 10 that your enterprise should actually keep track on, in terms of where are we, what is it, are we a 4, are we a 5, are we a 6.5, and where are we trying to go? Are we trying to go towards 8, and what will it take us to go there? So during this exercise, we are going to give you, based on our ESI practice, we are going to tell you where you are today, and how do you reach to your desired level, and how do different levels map to the different capabilities. So this is a concept that was started by us around 3 years ago. It has matured, it has been applied to a lot of organizations, and companies find it really useful. Okay, what do IT operate? I have been talking about that you need precise information. You need to know, you need exact and actionable insight and stuff like that. What does it mean? What kind of information am I talking about? So if you think about, what IT operations manager intuitively know. So if I talk to IT manager right now, and say, and I do, right, every week I'm talking to at least 10 different IT service desk managers. That's my job. I'm talking to a lot of new people. So when I talk to them, I know that the kind of information that they have easy access to. They know, hey, like Bob, what is the percentage of knowledge gap do you have? You know what? I think I have around 40% of the knowledge that I need. Okay, roughly, right? Like no precise, but they have a very good sense about how much. Or I might ask a question, you know, do you know what is the topmost automation opportunity that you have? And they might know it, right? Chances are they know. All great service desk manager already know that. Or I can ask them, what is the biggest pain point for your service desk end users? And they know that too, right? I ask them about technician utilization. They know that for sure. I asked them about employee satisfaction score, the last one that they had. They will know that. They will know about MTTR. They will know about first response. So all these metrics are well known to them. They also understand overall whether they have a good sense whether my service does need more efficiency or not. Like a lot of people have a very good sense of that. So this is the kind of information that they already have. That's a starting point, right? And we don't add any value here. They already know this. What we add value with is this kind of information, right? These are the kind of information that they're blindsided about. Like if I dig a little bit deeper and ask them more questions, that is where trouble starts. For example, if I say, tell me the exact area of knowledge gap that you have. And by the way, do you know how many dollars you're losing because you don't have this knowledge base? Do you have like a ROI of building this knowledge base versus the amount of dollars you're losing because of the knowledge base does not exist? Chances are it's a difficult question, right? I'll grant them that it's a difficult question and they might not have an answer here. I can also ask them, you know what? Your accessibility to service desk is low. Looks like people are writing emails or just making phone calls, and sometimes they have to wait on the phone calls. How many dollars do you think can be saved if we elevate the ease of access for them? Well, again, quantifying that in dollars or having a precise numbers to back that dollars up is not something that most people will right away know. And this is in two parts. One, they don't know like exactly, but from the input side, from the ticket side, but also they don't know where it can reach, right? So it's not just a matter of where they are, but where they can reach. So the delta between where you are and where you reach is the saving that you're talking about, right? And that's a gap. A lot of people don't know that. I can also ask them a question, what are the top 10 automation opportunities, right? So now look, the difference from last time to this time is last time I asked, tell me the topmost opportunity. This time I'm saying, tell me your top 10 opportunities. Do you know which is the fourth one or fifth or sixth precisely? Do you know how many dollars are going to be saved by that? That's where things start to tank again, right? And I'm sure a lot of people on the call might be able to empathize with what I'm saying. It's difficult to have this level of detail at your fingertips because, and we'll go into why it is very difficult to have that information. For example, if I say, tell me the top five applications that created the most noise for you in application support. Again, something very difficult to tell. You might know the first one, you might even know the second one, but the fourth and the fifth, no, very difficult. And lastly, like, you use ServiceNow, for example, right? And we all know that ServiceNow pricing is what it is. Um, when you bought ServiceNow, at that point of time, you made some, ROI predictions and, some level that you were going to reach. And pretty sure that every year senior management is coming to you and saying, hey, listen, my ServiceNow spend is going up. You're asking for more ServiceNow engineers. So tell me the ROI that you have been able to create with that. Do you use all the modules? Do you use all the features? Do you use, have you reached the final implementation desired state where you want to reach? Are you 70% there? Are you 30% there? These are all very fair questions, right? And it's difficult sometimes for service desk managers or IT operations leaders to be able to give those answers, reasonably. So, so this is the challenge that we are putting in front of you, saying, uh, these are the challenges. If they resonate with you, then that's what we are here to fix. All right, let's go to next slide. um, I think there was a slide before this where we talk about the methodology, but maybe we can talk about this slide. By the way, how long does it take to get the QVA done? And this typically is a 2 or 3 week exercise, and it, you have to sign an NDA. You have to give us your 3 to 6 months of data, and you need, what we need more than anything else is someone senior who's invested in the outcomes, right? Who have a fairly good understanding of their service desk and who's invested in the outcome. So this is a slide that typically comes later, but we can cover it right now. It's not a big deal. All right. So I'm going to go to my second segment. So how does QVA work, right? So what happens is, as you would have kind of gathered so far, that it uses ticket data, and I'm going to spend a minute here. Why this is unique, what we are doing. As you know, ticket data has a lot of information, but your ticket data might be thousands and tens of thousands of tickets. Who can read all those tickets? I mean, in a previous world, if you really want insights from tickets, you can hire someone and they can read through the ticket, but they are not an expert. So what are they going to tell you? So that means you really want someone very senior to look through the tickets personally and then derive insights from it and then recommend an action plan. It goes without saying, it's almost an impossible ask, right? No senior person will have that chunk of time to do this. And by the way, even senior people, get tired. Who has time to go through 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 tickets? We can do it humanly, right? And let's accept it. That's something that is very difficult to do humanly. Now, the consulting companies of earlier times will perhaps come to you and they will say, we will tell you what you can automate. And you will ask them, how are you going to tell me how we can automate? And essentially what they're going to do is they're going to sit down with you, they're going to learn from you, because they're also not going to go through, they didn't have the technology and the means to go through tons of data. They're going to go through largely with you, maybe do some sorting of data at a high level, and then after learning from you and maybe some data analysis, they will bring the output back to you and say, hey, you're down 100,000, we're sorry about that, but here is your recommendation. Please go implement it. By the way, we can implement it for another 500,000 for you. So so the point I'm trying to make is this was difficult and expensive, right? And not humanly possible and low quality at best. So how do we go from that problem? How did Resolve.ai solve that problem? Well, we have used generative AI to kind of solve that problem, apart from our other machine learning algos that we have created very specifically for this problem. So we can read tons of data, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, you name it. You can bring that amount of data to us and we can read the data. We can read the data and interpret the data in a very human like fashion using the generative AI. And we then apply our lot of machine learning algorithm on top of it. And then we marry it with the industry benchmarking data, and that is how we are able to create the different kind of assessments out of it, right? It's a very novel approach. I'm really not seen anyone else do it so far. And we have already used this approach for multiple customers and found great output. That's why we are launching it as a wider service offering, because this was done with a few customers, fine-tuned and all that. And essentially, what it'll tell you is it'll tell you the knowledge gap assessment, it'll tell you automation opportunity, it is going to tell you your channel strategy, whether it's optimized or not. It's going to tell you how much Gen AI, if you apply Gen AI based virtual support agent, what kind of uplift you are going to get. It's going to also tell you about your employee service index. And as I was telling you, you can take a approach on where this how much of a employee service index, where you need to go and where you are. uh, so as I was mentioning, we eat up the ticket data. um, and first thing that we do is we essentially break it down into category and subcategory, and these are not your categories and subcategories, right? So these are not based on how you define in your service desk what's a category, what's a subcategory. We don't use that, right? Why don't we use that? Because your category and subcategory, first of all, it can be different for different people, but also they might not be precise. I mean, how many service desk managers and leaders have met who wish their categories and subcategories were slightly different? So, these are legacy stuff. You started with something, you might or might not like it. It might or might not represent your, the best way to describe the categories and subcategories. For example, do you know, can you quickly tell what percentage of your issues come from applications versus, which are homegrown versus, enterprise applications, right? So that what percentage of issues come from networking, so on and so forth. So the right categorization and subcategorization is extremely important, and that's what we do. By the way, just on the basis of this categorization, you can do a bunch of performance benchmark. You can create an employee service index. You can create ITSM efficiency metrics. There's a bunch of metrics that we can do just on the basis of first level analysis. But of course, analysis doesn't stop there. It goes to knowledge automation. It largely goes into two areas. One is knowledge automation potential and task automation potential. Knowledge automation potential means that we are now telling you where you need to have knowledge in order to deflect the tickets. Where precisely, indeed, right? And that's a big deal. Among all these categories and subcategories, we will tell you where is the knowledge gap and which will be the most impactful for you to plug first. And then the knowledge gap that will be most impactful to plug second, and so on and so forth, so that you will have good ticket deflection. This needs a lot of intelligence. It needs to make assessment on whether the ticket can be deflected by knowledge or not, right? Not all the tickets can be deflected by knowledge. And we know that, and we have figured that out, and therefore we can tell you what kind of tickets can be deflected by knowledge. The second such thing is task automation potential, right? What kind of task, which I mean like processes, or orchestration of workflows, all those broadly business process automation kind of functionality comes into it. So what kind of automation can be done, and where, and which category, which subcategory? By the way, we are going to tell you exact and precise tickets as example. Look at this ticket. This is the ticket is an example of this category, and what kind of automation can be done there. Now, for example, if I come to you and say, hey, 28% of your tickets will go away if you have the knowledge automation, and 32% of the tickets will go away by task automation, right? Something like that. So the overall automation, by the way, the number here is wrong. It's not 30, it should be 60. So 60% of your tickets can be automated overall, right? Potentially. And that's a big deal, right? The numbers here that we see are pretty dramatic. And this is the potential right now. When you deploy the product or make the changes, you're not going to make all the changes on day one, right? You'll make some in day one and some in day two, and so on and so forth, which is okay. It's a journey. Automation always I call as a journey. But this is important to kind of notice that significant, and not only you know that 60% of my tickets can go away, but you also know why, which one, where, what example, how, right? That kind of thing. And this is what will be maintained in the reports finally. um, so this is the kind of output that you're going to see, right? This is a sample output, like what are the different kind of categories, subcategories that you have for each ticket, and it number looks pretty easy. And this is the kind of metrics that we are actually looking for internally. Like we are looking for cross system complexity, chatbot workflow automation, API integration potential. So this is all happening automatically. This is I cannot emphasize it enough for the people who are listening to this. This is a very advanced technology, the likes of which nobody has right now, right? You can't go and buy this technology from anywhere else right now because it's just not there. We can look at all those in details and tell you what precisely needs to be done where. You can break down the task by tickets and tell them this is, for example, for the previous categories, it tells you what is the percentage of automation possible in task per category, right? That's the level of detail that you're going to see. With that, we are going to go to the third segment here of my presentation. We have to break down the presentation to three parts. This StreamYard would not let us upload the presentation as one, as a single presentation. All right, so the last part is, okay, this is fantastic. You're giving me precise information. I love what I'm going to learn. This makes it actionable. I can actually make a plan for next year. I can create numbers that make sense. I can actually, if I tell someone that I can do 17% improvement in one particular area, that means I can do 17% improvement in some area. And the reason I'm saying this, I have a precise reason of saying that. Great. What can be the next steps, right? So, oftentimes you might have to go to your senior management to make a case for maybe some investment to reach these kind of savings. You might have to create a ROI, calculator for them, and you might have to create a precise business case. You might have to, identify and prioritize the automation opportunities. Remember, when we tell you automation opportunities 1 through 10, for example, you probably might not do those 1 through 10 in the same sequence, right? You might do 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 7, 6. It's your choice, because at the end of the day, the information that we provide overlays with some of the information that you have, right? Your knowledge of your service desk and the needs and the pain point and the senior management task and whatnot. Those two things need to be married to each other to give you the final decision points. But this data provides an excellent, I will call it beyond a starting point, right? I mean, a starting point means you got to build a lot on top of it. So I wouldn't call it a starting point. I think it provides you enough meat so that you can actually create an output fairly quickly. And we can help you with that if you want to for example, a business case creation for sales management, right? Easy peasy. We can help you with that, or you can do it yourself. So those can be the next steps. Now, I'm going to pause here. And so far, for the first approximately 25 minutes or so, I've talked about QVA, which is a core offering that we are doing. And just so you know, we are offering to the first 15 qualified customers this QVA opportunity at cost. Not at cost, without cost. Actually, we are going to eat up the cost for this for the first 15 customers, and after that, the value will be around 25K. So after the first 15 customers, it will be 20, around 25K. We need to qualify you. If you come in, we'll welcome you to apply for it, and if you want to apply for it, we'll qualify you first and make sure that you have the right kind of customer. We look at the customer size and what they're trying to do and some basic hygiene stuff. And if you're qualified, then we will do this analysis for you at no cost, and then you can go from there, right? So that's a big deal, and I hope people on the call who want to avail of this opportunity will do. Now, some of you might not know about Rezolve.ai. I suspect a lot of people who are on the call, they already know about Rezolve.ai, but for the people who don't know about us, I'm going to quickly break it down for you. What is Rezolve.ai and why you should listen to us about this? We are a company that was started in 2017. We are on our 7th or 8th year right now. Within the ITSM world and service desk world, we are a fairly well-known company, especially known as a company that uses generative AI and modern automation to reduce the tickets. That's what we are known for. We have two products, core products configuration essentially. So there's a product called Sidekick 3.0 and there's a product called AITSM. The Sidekick 3.0 essentially is a GenAI based enterprise search and bot virtual support agent plus an automation engine, right? Both of those are integrated with that. Here, as a part of this, we integrate with ServiceNow, we integrate with BMC, we integrate with larger products out there in the market, and we provide you quick, um, specialized solution which can help you reduce your ticket volume and get you the efficiency gains and whatnot. And the second configuration of our product is AITSM. And what AITSM means is we are a complete full-fledged ITSM product. So if you use us in our second configuration, you don't need a different ITSM solution. You don't need to buy a fresh desk or a manage engine or Ivanti or any of those solutions. You don't need any of those solutions. We have a full-fledged, very smart ITSM solution. I will describe it as a very modern ITSM solution. It learns from everyone's mistakes, and the fact that they are not configurable, and the fact that they don't have great virtual support agents, and the fact that their focus is not right. They don't seem to be focused on automating. They seem to be focused on management of tickets. So we have learned from the mistakes of others and created a product which is widely used, by the way. For mid-size enterprises, I would say there's a great product. Even up to 5,000 employees, I think it's a great product. So there are two variations, like I said. Sidekick, companies for all sides. AITSM is definitely a mid-size ITSM company, very modern take on the ITSM. Um, why you should listen to us? We are, very successful in delivering the output that everyone talks about. We can deliver approximately 25 to 35% ticket deflection within first 3 to 6 months of deployment, and that's a common thing. It has happened across the board. A lot of customers. So if you go to our website and you listen to our webinars, there are tons of webinars in there with our existing customers who are talking about the product. They're talking about their experiences. They're talking about what works, what doesn't work. So I'll welcome you to go do that. But it's a very interesting way, and our numbers are real. So if you deploy this product, you are likely to save those kind of savings. And finally, right, if you add everything together that I've been saying, so you go to the QVA and do that assessment. It's no obligation. You don't have to move on with us. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. But you will develop an understanding of your own service desk that you probably didn't have so far at that level of depth. And at that point of time, you can bake that into your budget. I started this conversation by talking about the budget. You can bake that into your budget planning for next year. You can bake that into your projections for next year in terms of what you're going to deliver to your company next year, and what your agenda looks like as a service desk manager or an IT operations leader for next year. So I'll pause here. This is what I had. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Welcome anyone. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to kind of give the questions and comments. I'll be here for 1 or 2 more minutes to answer those. I do know that we finished a little bit earlier than we were planning, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed this session and it added some value to you. If I may say it added some quick value to you. All right. With that, I'm going to leave this, and you can post the questions, and we'll be happy to come back with answers. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it.